What's up, my fellow trashinaires? Welcome back to another episode of Code Content. And sadly, because my iPhone has run out of storage, my first take got messed up. I basically talked about everything. I was just about to get to the end of the movie when, oh, you don't have enough space to record. And kind of that's my fault. See, even though it's not good for history reasons, I delete my videos after I record them because they're on the internet and I don't have enough space and I haven't invested in a USB or extra storage because that's expensive. As you can probably tell, I'm a bit peeved. I basically finished the video. It was 40 minutes long, which is longer than I like to. But hey, I basically covered what I needed to. So, weehee. But turns out, once I cut out my beginning part, fun fact, behind the little scenes thing, because the one part of my videos I can edit is the ending and the beginning, I tend to take a couple seconds to get ready, make sure everything's right and ready. And then I start the video by doing my, hey, what's up, my fellow trashinators? But every time I did that, the video would corrupt or something like that. It wouldn't load. I tried a couple times, which is basically just clicking off, clicking back on. It kept saying that could not load the highest quality version. I don't care. Play the video and upload it, but you're not here for that because we're going to be talking about John Wick 4. I'm still a bit mad. Sorry. Anyway, I love it. I just watched it today. It came out today for people in the future, which, hi, don't comment anything on my comments because people like to do that. Anyway, so I just saw it a few hours ago, and because as soon as I heard that the movie was coming out today, I made it my word that I was going to go see it no matter what. And so, of course, might not always be, but I'm a man of my word. So, yeah, I saw it. It's really good. It's really good. So I implore you, go watch the movie. I don't care if you come back to this, because this is just a recap of what happened. But I implore you, go watch it. Please, 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 please go watch it. It would mean the world to me. So yeah, because I'll be covering heavy spoilers for a brand new movie. So yeah, but I feel like I have to get this out in the first part of the video. Recently, March 17th, we got news that an actor in the franchise, he is in this movie, Lance Riddick. He plays Carrion. I think that's how you pronounce his character's name. Lance Riddick passed away. He took, I forgot the saying, but he basically became the main focus whenever he was on screen. He was incredible, and I recently found out that he's playing Hellboy in the new Hellboy game. He recorded all of his lines, so he's still gonna be Hellboy, and I can't wait to hear him play Hellboy. So, yeah. It was sad, especially since, spoilers again, please, his character dies early in the film. So that was just poor timing. Though they do consider his character's death respectfully. He was a good character, even though he was a bit minor than most. But anyway, let's get to the movie. Alright. So we start out with John. We see he's been training because the last movie, he was shot off a roof, and the king, a guy who like rules all of the homeless people in the world. Excuse me, mainly New York. He took John in. He trained. He got better. Because again, he got shot off a roof. He's good. So his first act is to go to, I think, the Middle East, where he goes to find the Elder. That's like a main player there. Except he killed the last one from the last movie because John cut off his left ring finger. That's the one with his wedding ring from his late wife. So he goes to the Middle East. By the way, there's a little detail that I thought was going to play in later. But the first shot of this location was just like a landscape shot with this sunset in the center with 3 figures on horses. And then all of a sudden there's a 4th one, which 4 horsemen. I thought that was like symbolism to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, but it not really isn't. The John Wick franchise does like to play with mythology a lot. It's like a big part of it. I'll talk about this later. Okay, so he goes to the Elder. He's like, I want my ring back. And the Elder's like, no can do. You let go of that. And everything like that, you've let go of. Because everything you touch leads to death. And only can that not happen once you die. So yeah, you came for nothing. And John's like, okay, cool, but not nothing, and shoots him twice in the face. So, of course, this is the last time we see John for a good 30-40 minutes. Because we go to Winston, the manager of the Hotel Continental in New York. New York. So, he's there. Somebody, one of like the main like sidekicks of the High Council, the secret leaders of the Assassin Society, he comes down and is like, yeah, you're done. You're done. You let John Wick run through and kill everyone, so you're facing consequences. No more hotel for you. Puts on a big hourglass and is like, you have 1 hour. Go to the Marty, I think his name is. A French guy. Played by It actor Bill Skarsgård. And so Winston goes to the marquee with Charon. And Winston's like, you shouldn't be here. And Charon's like, it's kind of the least I can do, even though I'm technically not employed anymore by you. But we're friends. So they meet with the Marty. He's like a subcontractor or something like that at the high table. He's like, yeah, you let John Wick run loose. You helped them expressly when you were not supposed to. No more hotel. And as soon as the hourglass stops, the hotel freaking explodes. And of course, the Marty's like, yeah, since you're not the manager of a Continental anymore, you don't need a... There's a specific name for what carry-on is. But he's like, you don't need an assistant anymore. Takes a gun, shoots carry-on in the chest, and that's where he dies. It was surprising, but I guess it kind of makes sense. But, of course, they handled it incredibly respectfully, even though at the time of the movie's creation, Lance Reddick had not passed away, and he, of course, passed away shortly before the premiere of the movie. So, Even though they didn't know it was going to happen, of course, they didn't know it happened until the movie was about to release anyway. They still handled care with the character himself, which secondarily, respectfully sent off Lance Reddick himself. So, in case you're still a bit hesitant to see this movie because of that, no worries. And you're still a fucking idiot for watching this movie. Or this video, I mean. Because I told you spoilers, and of course, I didn't cover that much in my previous take. I basically mentioned this heaviest spoilers at the beginning because I thought that was like important to the story. I mean, it is, but it's more or less like, I mean, it's important to the story. I meant like it was more important than it actually was, because I'll cover it. I didn't mention I'll cover it. So yeah, Carry On's dead now. And then what happens? We pick up at the Japanese Continental, where we meet up with a new character, or nobody. He doesn't really have a name. I tried to see, but I couldn't find anything on him. Because his like main name towards the end of the movie is Nobody. He's just trying to find a high enough amount of money on a bounty so he can leave the underground, even though he's incredibly new. Like, he doesn't have this air of being in this secret society for ages like most of the other characters are. He's just kind of like a stand-in for most new people to the series. But he does serve a higher function as resembling a younger John Wick, because he does have a companion, which is a dog. A very good girl, I think. I think it's a good girl. So, yeah. He basically serves that function. I'll just mention it now. Spoilers! John dies at the end of this movie. And I think it is pretty good to send it off at 4. I wasn't really expecting it, but I get it now in retrospect. This is his John Wick's final movie in the series. Though I do think they're setting up Nobody and a character who also is introduced with Nobody, which is Akira, the daughter of the manager of the hotel, Japanese Continental. I do think they're setting them both up as new characters for potential spin-offs. I think it's more obvious with Nobody because he plays a better part of the story overall. But it's pretty obvious, I think, for most people. The one video I did watch before this, basically as a refresher for the story, they are also concluding that, yeah, he's going to be in a spin-off of some sort. I did think they mentioned a prequel TV series for John Wick, whatever that means, but they're definitely going to do another spin-off with Nobody. Which I do think they're going to expand on his backstory with a certain character. I'll mention this later. Of course, Nobody's at the Japanese Continental, and we find out that the manager is friends with John. And of course, this is where we pick up back with John, where him and the manager talk. It's set up that Nobody's hunting after John. And previously, and I keep forgetting this, but we meet a new character that I really like, Caine, C-A-I-N-E. He's a blind man who's also old friends with John Wick. He has a daughter he tries to protect at all costs, including losing his eyesight so he could retire and leave her out of all of it. So, sadly, the Marty's like, hey, kill John Wick, please. So, Caine's like, alright, you're gonna kill my daughter if I don't. And that's basically the only threat they use, because he doesn't really care about his own life. So yeah. So this is where we see Caine in his first action. The Continental and these groups of guys who work for the Marty, they fight we see all these action scenes that are cool. John, Kane, Nobody, Akira, the manager, they all fight. But the main things are that the manager dies to Kane after John and Kane fight. John and Nobody meet, and they all talk, and Nobody's like, yeah, I'm not gonna kill you yet. You don't have a high enough bounty, so yeah. And Akira makes John promise to kill Kane. Spoilers, he doesn't. So yeah, that's basically all that happens in this like setting. Basically sets up the rest of the movie and the specific plot points. So after this, Winston and the King meet up. Winston's like, can you get John and me to talk? I need his help. And when the King's like, yeah, I know, you shot him. And Winston's like, I had to. And the King's like, no, you really didn't. He's like, and Winston's like, oh, fine. But can you get us to talk? And he's like, yeah, sure. So at Carry-On's grave, which is like a group grave, him and Winston and John meet. Winston's like, yeah, if you go straight to kill the Marti, you will die. Because he works for the high table and they can do whatever they want, basically. AKA, they can hire anyone and John will just run out of bullets before he kills all of them. And John's like, so what then what? And Winston's like, oh, yeah, there's this rule. If you're part of the round table, the high table or whatever, as one of the families, you can ask another person to a duel. And John's like, yeah, well, the family I was a part of, excommunicado myself. And Winston's like, yeah, get it back and you can duel the Marti. And so John goes to Belgium to meet up with his family. And they almost kill him because, again, he was excommunicado, left with the family, and because of that, the high table executed the main leader. Excuse me. And so, yeah, that's not good. So the main leader now is like, thanks to you, the ex-leader is dead now. Why are you here? We don't want anything to do with you. John's like, I want to kill this guy, but I need to be back in the family so I can do it. But the family's like, nah, why would we bring you back? And he's like, so I can duel him via the rules. And they're like, okay, if you kill the guy that killed the last leader, we'll bring you back. And you get a special permit or whatever. That means you can ask for a duel. So John's like, okay, cool. But I need to wait in. So this guy who only says his name, which means he's probably autistic, takes him in to meet the guy. But Kane's already there, and nobody shows up because nobody's a really good tracker, and he wants to kill John. Well, he has to now because he met up with the Marti, and the Marti's like, alright, cool, I'm a bastard, and now you work for me, and you have to kill John Wick no matter what, or else I'll kill you and your dog. And so now nobody has to kill John. So the fat guy's like, ha ha ha. He has asthma, apparently. So you two want to kill him, he wants to kill me. Let's play a card game to figure this out. But of course, he's a cheating bastard, and so everything goes to hell. Kane and nobody fight off the guards, and John goes after the fat guy who also runs a club, which I thought was a nice little similarity between this film and the Batman, where there's a fat guy with extensive wealth who runs a club that will fight through a few beatings, dance through a few fights. So yeah. I mean, during is a better term. So yeah, John kills the guy, takes 3 of his gold teeth, or 1 of his gold teeth, to his family, and is like, yeah, I killed him. Can I have my family ticket back and also get a crest so I can ask for a duel? And she's like, okay, sure. Burn your arm with your crest, and I'll do the same. So now we're basically equals. And they do it. John sends a letter to the Marquis saying, hey, let's set up a duel. And basically, if I kill you, I am free. I have no more obligations to the high table or elsewhere. And if you win, I die. Win-win. So yeah, they set it up via a card game as well, where they sit down, they have their terms set up. If they have conflicting terms, one guy flips a card, they both flip a card. If one has a higher number, that guy gets the term. So they set it up at a church in Paris, at sunrise, with guns that look like single barrel sawed-off shotguns, but they are not. They're just really strong pistols. So yeah, they set it up. Winston's John's second, and of course the Marquis, being a slimy bitch, gets Kane to be the guy who duels, which is kind of setting yourself up for failure. They're very well-known friends, Kane and John, so yeah. So yeah, they just go. They hang out till sunset. John gets a new suit that looks like his first suit in the movie. First movie. There's this like really nice scene where John, the king, he brought the suit, of course, and Winston are there. They're talking on a boat ride as close to the church. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure if Saint the fucking church from Notre Dame, Hunchback of Notre Dame is what I was gonna say, but thankfully this isn't, since that title I remember the name of the church. So yeah, if Notre Dame didn't burn down, they probably would have filmed in front of that, but they had to choose another church. I forgot the name. It's like S. It has an S in the beginning. So yeah, John tries to go to the church, but of course he has a bounty, and the French douche raises it to 40, especially since nobody is like, hey, yeah, if you want me to make this easier on you so you don't have to duel John Wick, I'll kill him for 40 million. Well, no, he says 35 million. And the douche is like, yeah, sure, alright. And he raises it to 40, the bounty, but also the price. And so nobody goes for it. After a lot of fighting throughout Paris, they're in an abandoned building. But because John saves nobody's dog from this asshole, I guess, yeah. Nobody's like, alright, cool, you saved my dog, I owe you nothing, but I like you because you saved my dog. My dog is very precious to me. Also, the dog survives being hit by a car. I know that somebody's gonna make a joke about how the dog has more plot armor than the previous 2 dogs that John has, or had one and still has. But anyway, so yeah. After that, John is almost there, but he has to climb, what was it, like 250 stair steps up to the church. Of course, people constantly fight him up all the way up to the top, or almost to the top. But then the main asshole who tried to kill the dog comes back, pushes him all the way down the stairs, and so John's at the bottom with 3 minutes left till sunrise. Luckily, Kane's there to help him get back up. They fight the French guys, and luckily, right as they have the main guy down, Kane and John make it to the duel, while nobody takes care of the main French guy. Of course, now that's done. That's basically his end of the story. Of course, he goes to the duel to watch. Not sure why, but he goes anyway. He watches as Kane and John duel. It takes 3 shots. First shot, John gets Kane in the arm really good, like right in the dead left, almost dead, like a little bit left to the left arm, you know? At least he gets inside the arm. Kane misses the right side of his right side of John's arm. And then John gets, what was it? The right side of Kane's abdomen. And Kane gets John's shoulder. At least he actually embeds the bullet this time. But the third shot, Kane gets John's lower hip. And John does not shoot. And because the French guy thinks, oh, it's all over, he claims a secret coup d'etat or whatever bullet, where he's basically like, okay, I'll execute him now since he's basically going to die anyway. But he's too arrogant to not notice that John didn't shoot. So John's like, asshole, right in his face. So yeah, John's free, Kane's still alive, and Winston gets his hotel back. So that's not the end of the movie, because John, after finally being free, he just asks Winston to take him home. He goes down a few flights of the front of the church, a few stairs, sits down, remembers Helen, his wife, and he dies. It's a bit ambiguous. I mean, we do see him die. That's why I believe that he's dead. But, I mean, we've seen kind of worse. I mean, he did basically go through the first movie just to get to the church. Like, that amount of damage. So, of course, a few shots with a very powerful pistol would take him out. Especially with nothing left to live for. I mean, besides his dog. His second dog's still alive. We see in the final scene at his funeral, basically, where it's just Winston and the king. The king has his dog. So yeah, John dies. Of course, recently experiencing a loss myself, I could tell someone was going to die. I'm very good with that. Upsettingly, I'm good with predicting deaths. Or at least good enough to know when someone's going to die, not who's going to die. So I could tell someone was going to die during the duel, and John dies. It makes sense in retrospect that he dies in this movie. He finally, basically, he did complete his mission. Initially just revenging his last gift from his wife, to no longer having any obligation to the high table, or anyone for that matter. He finally could let go of everything because he had nothing left to let go of. So now that John's dead, of course they set up some new protagonists, Akira, and of course Kane's still alive. So Akira already has her villain. It's more of an antagonist. Kane's a good dude. He has his own daughter, so that'll be the conflict they face, where Akira has to let go of her grudge potentially. That's probably how it's gonna go. But with nobody, I do have a theory of who he is. He could have already shown up. I do not know. I haven't watched the first 3 movies in a while. I do have them on Blu-ray, all 3 of them together. So, but I did not watch them because I got them the day before Pocket died. So I did not want to watch another dog die. So, yeah. Anyway, so if nobody got foreshadowed or was shown already, I don't know. But based on the fact he has a very similar attire to the king, I think he's related to the king. Besides like their clothing, like especially the beanie, their beanies are very similar. Besides like that and their like general like attire, I have no other basis for that. So if they're not related, I'm not sure. So yeah, that's it for John Wick 4. It's absolutely fantastic. The action is like just slightly higher than the last one because that was like the all-out balls to the wall action movie of the series. So the fact they upped it a bit, just like a little, is still fantastic. Choreography, still great. The style is so much better than the rest of the film. The rest of the series it's actually my favorite visually. Like it's so good. It's so good. Come on. Yeah! My phone warned me that I'm on 10%. So let's actually just... I don't have to speed up. I'm about to end. So yeah, I'm actually still filming. That's good. So yeah. Yeah, everything's great. The music... Oh, I forgot to mention... whatever. I'll do a tweet about it later, along with like one other thing I forgot to mention. But yeah, basically that's it. This movie is fantastic on all sides. Acting is great. And there's like, I don't know, it's just good. It's just good. And if you still haven't seen it, even though you watched all the way through, I hate you personally, and I will for the rest of my life. This movie was meant to be seen without pre-exposure. So yeah, I hope you know that. I, a random person on the internet, now hate you for something you did with or without prior knowledge. So yeah, hope you know that. That's how good this movie is. I now hate, 2 people who watched this far? So yeah. Anyway, that's about it. Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching this far. Especially those who actually watched the movie before this video. Or any other video for that matter. And I'll see you guys next Friday for a very special video that I was going to do last Friday. But it doesn't matter. Bye.